Alright, bbay40 back here with another Zombie Uprising video. This time we're going to cover the guns of Tier 1. And I did this evaluation, and it took me a while to kind of come up with a way to kind of fairly and even analytically, being an engineer, I want to do this, kind of be precise on, as best I can, on determining which guns are the best and which ones are not. And I know if you look at the chart, a lot of you are going to think, hey, this isn't right. Because I got the SVD 200 way down at the bottom, and a lot of people really like that gun and rate it kind of high. But let me go over the factors I used in determining which gun is really the best and which one isn't. And the number one factor first I looked at was how much damage does each bullet do. And what I did is I took the ratings from each gun, and you can open up each gun, and you click on that gun and it'll pop up a box that shows you all the statistics on that gun. And I took that damage number, like for instance the very top one, SV98, had a damage ratio of 112, I believe it was. So all I do is divide that by 5, and it gives me a number that tells me how strong it is for damage. The RPG-7 was around 100, really didn't say for sure. The shotgun also was kind of had a scatter range, so I kind of picked a range. Both those guns were about 100. But the PDWR only had a listing of about 12. And same with the M16, it was about 12. The M4 was 11. The M9 was 22. And SVD 200 was 38. So it's kind of a strong number, but obviously not as great as the SV98 or the shotgun, the MCS shotgun. So that's where it fell in that category of bullet strength. Now the other thing I looked at was ammo capacity, which is important in the game. You're going to have enough ammo to kill all the zombies before you run out of ammo. So ammo capacity has some importance. So what I did is I just took the total number of rounds that each gun had and divided that by 100 and gave that a number to add in. So I mean, it's good to have in the chart as a factor in determining how good the gun is, but it wasn't really weighted really strongly. It didn't have a lot of weight because there's a cola you can buy for a 50% increase in ammo storage, and even a perk you can select for ammo storage give you 100% more ammo. So ammo is not really a big issue a lot of times. You can always get enough one way or another. Now another thing I looked at too was reload speed, which really again wasn't a big factor, but I rated it on a scale from 1 to 10, and it was based on the amount of time it takes to reload the gun. And the quicker it is, obviously the higher the number is. Like you look at the M9 pistol, gave it a 9 out of 10 because it only takes 1.5 seconds to reload that pistol. And anything that took more than 5 seconds, I gave a 0. Basically, like the LSAT takes over 6.5 seconds, and the same with the shotgun. The shotgun, when you use up all the ammo that's in the gun, it reloads the ammo one shell at a time. It just takes forever. It's ridiculous how slow it is. So I gave the shotgun also a 0. And so these factors were, based on how much time it takes to reload the gun. And the fire rate, what I did basically, if you can, you look at the box. It's usually in the bottom right. When you click on the gun in the tier, it'll show you the statistics in there. And all I did was take what they gave as a rate of fire, how many rounds per minute, and divided that by 100. So you look at the PDW has 750 rounds per minute as a fire rate. So I divided by 100, you get 7.5 points of credit for that gun. M4 had 800 rounds per minute. So that's how I rated these guys. And unfortunately, the SVD fell very low on that. It only had 250 rounds per minute. It's a very slow shooting gun, which even though it is strong, relatively strong compared to the machine guns, it doesn't fire very fast. And it also takes a little bit time to reload. And the ammo capacity was low. So that's why it fell down so low on this chart. You know, some people may still like it as a good gun. They got used to it and enjoy it, and I don't, I can't fault you for that. I'm just pointing out here that you may want to consider other options like the shotgun, which is much stronger and has a fire rate that's half the speed really as rated, like 120 rounds per minute, as opposed to the 200, which has 250 rounds per minute. But the pump action shotgun was a lot stronger. Got a rate of 20 as far as bullet damage. Much stronger gun. So overall, when you look at all the factors and you add it all up and you put it all together, the rifle comes out as on the top of the chart as the best gun that you can use, because of it's very strong. It has a decent amount of ammo, considering how strong it is. And the reload speed wasn't too bad. The only thing that kind of slows that gun down is it has to cock each bullet, and it's a bolt action rifle, which kind of slows it down. So anyway, that's how I wanted to go through and show you each of these guns in that order. Now I'm going to go through the chart and each gun and show you how they work in action, starting off with the bottom one, the LSAT, and work my way up the chart as we go through here. So looking at the LSAT, you see here that his fire rate was lower than other machine guns at 600 rounds per minute, and bullet damage wasn't really great. It was only rated at 14. So, but let's see it in action. You get to see what it's like as we shoot it here. And you see it takes a lot of rounds to take most of the zombies down, even your common zombies, just round after round after round. So, not very strong. It's a hair stronger than the other machine guns, but the reason it fell so low on the chart is when you combine the strength with the fire rate, it's not very good. So the other machine guns had quicker fire rates and relatively about the same strength in their rounds, so they came out higher, like the M16, the M4, and PDW all did better than this gun. I mean, looking at it, you would think those shells should be stronger, and I agree, they should be stronger, much stronger. This should be a much better gun, but unfortunately it just it doesn't have what it should have and fell kind of low on the scale. And the real thing that made it fall at the very bottom of the chart was, as you just saw, how long it takes to reload the gun. And it's not good to be basically without any gun protection for any length of time in this game, because the zombies get on you pretty quick. So almost all the time you spend reloading the gun is wasted time, or time that puts you in danger in the game. So that's why I added that factor to the chart as a way of rating the guns and how well they work in the game. And you see it takes 6.6 seconds, the chart said, to reload the gun, which is just kind of ridiculous. I mean, even though you don't have to load it very often because it holds so much ammo. Now you're looking at right now, after you pap it up, it starts off with 90 rounds in the clip, and it jumps right up. The pack-a-punch machine will double the amount of rounds that any gun can carry in the clip, not in the reserve, but just in the clip. So it bumped it from 90 up to 180, so you can run around for a while shooting this gun. But again, the combination of fire rate and strength of the bullets made this a fairly weak gun. And that's why, even though some other guns are very strong, like the shotgun in here, I think it's the 870 MCS shotgun that has really strong rounds. It also has a fairly decent fire rate of 120 rounds per minute. But it's a single shot gun. You have to keep tapping your mouse button to get it to shoot. Whereas opposed to these machine guns, they're automatic, and all you do is hold the button down and it just keeps shooting and shooting and shooting. Now here, the SVD 200, I know a lot of people rate this gun kind of high and consider it one of the better guns in this tier. I thought it rather, when you actually look at the numbers, look at the statistics, it actually fell pretty low, which I was, surprised. As I was playing around with this chart, trying to figure out which factors were most important, which ones should be rated the most. I originally had this rated kind of high, but then when I actually considered all the factors and looked at where each gun fell in the chart and adjusted everything appropriately, it ended up falling pretty low to the bottom, because you see how slow the fire rate is? I'm clicking my mouse button as quick as I can. Now it says it's supposed to be 250 rounds per minute, but I don't see how that's possible. Because I can only shoot like 3, maybe 4 rounds. You'd have to shoot over 4 rounds a second to hit 250. I can't click my mouse that quick. It really doesn't fire that quick. Not that I could get it to fire that quick anyway. Maybe with an auto clicker you might be able to hit that rate. But I couldn't do it. So it was a little disappointing in the fire rate, how quickly you can shoot the bullets. And like I said, it's one shot at a time. You got to click your mouse for every time you want to shoot it. It is relatively strong with a rating of 38 compared to the machine guns, we're all down like 12 and 11 and 12. So this is much stronger than the automatic machine guns. But the fire rate is so slow. It kind of balances out when you add the combination of strength with the rate of speed that you can shoot it. You can see why the machine guns end up higher on the chart, because you can actually in the same amount of time do more damage with the machine gun than you can with this gun, because you can shoot so many rounds. But one of the disadvantages to the machine guns is they run out of ammo quicker. They just, every time I've used either an M16 or an M4, I just ran out of ammo every time I use them. And this gun, I think I have actually run out of ammo once or twice. I've used it several times. Because I do still like it, even though it didn't rate very high in my chart. It takes only 2 or 3 bullets to take down these common zombies, the regular zombies. So it is fairly strong. Whereas, if you look at the, if you consider all the machine guns, they take anywhere from 8 to 10 rounds, or 7 to 10 rounds to take down a zombie. But they shoot those rounds much quicker. And that's why they fall a little higher on the scale here, on the chart. Now the pistol is one I really liked, and I personally was disappointed that it fell so low. It's like number 3 from the bottom. It came in number 7 out of 9. Because it has a strength of 22, which is decent, very quick reload speed, and supposedly you're supposed to be able to shoot 400 rounds a minute, but again, it's a matter of how fast you can click the mouse button, and I just can't click a mouse button that quick. And as quick as I click that button, my fire rate wasn't very consistent. It wasn't a constant faster rate. And at that rate too, you're shooting the shells as much as you do. You do run out of ammo with this gun. I've had that happen several times. That's why the low ammo was a factor in hurting this gun, how it rated on the scale. But overall, it's a pretty decent pistol to play with and to use. So here I'm showing you it takes 3 or 4 rounds to take down a lot of the regular zombies. These armored guys take much more, obviously, and the winged mini bosses take more. But most of your common zombies, if you can get a good straight on shot, you'll see that this one, 1, 2, 3, he's down. So the pistol is a fairly strong gun, relatively speaking. It was able to, like I say, take down zombies with 3 or 4 rounds. But the amount of rounds are limited. You only had, I think, maybe, what was it, around 250 total, give or take. Not a lot of rounds to get through the game. But even so, as a beginner gun, it's very good because of its relative strength. And early rounds, you don't get a lot of zombies in early rounds, so you can make it through early rounds with the pistol. But I've had fun with it. I like it. I use it sometimes as my secondary gun. It is a secondary weapon. It's not in the main category with the main guns. It's kind of like a backup weapon. could use in the game, which is handy to have as a beginner if you're starting off in Tier 1. Alright, so next one we're going to look at is the M4 machine gun. It's going to be coming up next. And it rates this as having a fire rate of 800 rounds per minute, which I honestly don't believe, because this gun shoots in bursts, and you have to click your mouse button each time to get it to shoot in a burst of 3 rounds at a time. And there's no way you can get 800 rounds having to click the mouse button all the time to get it to shoot. Do 800 rounds in a minute compared to other guns. It's just, they need to reevaluate that, because that's just not right. So it did fall low in the category, mainly because it takes much longer to reload than the other guns, like 3.3 seconds to reload. And it's weak too. It's not a very strong gun. So I didn't rate it very well in my chart. But so I mean, if you want to play with a machine gun, you know, there's my friend from Ukraine. He joined me here for this particular round. It was good to see him. We play together about every other day. So yeah, the M4, it does have the most ammo, equal to the M16 and the PDWR. They both have 450 rounds in reserve with 60 in the chamber after you get it papped. But bullet damage, the M4 was the weakest with 11, when the other ones were at 12. And I think another thing that hurt it also was the reload speed. It's one of the slower reloading machine guns. Even though I went with the fire rate that it listed in the chart of 800 rounds per minute, that really isn't accurate. It's really not right. It's I guess how fast each burst of 3 rounds shoots. Probably that burst for those 3 rounds is that quick. But overall, it's impossible to just sit there, because you have to, like I say, you have to, after each burst, you have to click the mouse button again. So it's almost like a single fire gun. So it really does belong at the bottom of the machine guns that are available at this Tier 1. Definitely below the M16 or the M4. But unfortunately, the LSAT, because of its other bad ratings, ended up at the very bottom. So that's it. That's the main feature of this M4, is this burst rate firing. Now we're looking at the M16 A3, and it has here stronger than the M4. It's 12 rated at 12 instead of 11. It reloads a little bit faster. I think it's like 3.13 compared to 3.3. And the fire rate is not quite as fast, but actually is faster than the M4 overall. But it's a fire rate of 750 rounds per minute. And it is continuous until you run out of ammo, which you do quite often. Because it does take a lot of rounds to kill zombies. And you see how it just took down that mini-boss, the winged mini-boss. As long as you don't run out of ammo and can keep firing, then you can take down some zombies with this gun. It's fairly decent. You know, it's like the number 2 machine gun. The PDWR is the only one I rated a little bit better than this, and that was only because you can reload it quicker. All the other statistics pretty much were the same, with ammo capacity, bullet damage, and fire rate. They were all equal. PDW-R with the M16. Just like I said, the PDW could reload a little bit quicker, like 2.9 seconds, I think it was. And so it's a little bit faster than this gun to reload. And we'll be looking at the PDW next after this one. So that's what you're looking at. It's a kind of a trade-off. You either get the machine guns are weaker, the rounds are weaker, but they shoot a lot faster than the shotgun or the rifle. But Depends on which kind of gun you really like to use in the game. If you like having machine guns with all the rapid fire, or if you want to be a marksman, go with the SV98. If you want to shoot from a distance. Now here, I just selected armor piercing. So if you go in here with the mods, and you want to modify either the ammunition or the capacity, you can do that. You can increase how many rounds it can carry, capacity, or you can increase the strength of your bullets by switching to what I did there, switch to armor piercing. But after you buy it, make sure you click on it and it shows a red border around the box. You know it's activated. So, and this gun here, this is the PDW-R. It's the gun that you're given free to start off with. It's a starter gun. When you first come into the game, level 1, first time playing, you can grab this gun for free. And as I rated it, if you look at all the numbers on it, it ends up being the best out of the 4 different machine guns in the game. In Tier 1, it's the best of the 4. The other gun that you get for free is the one at the very top of this chart, the SV98. It's the rifle, and I'll cover that here shortly. But before we get there, we're going to go through the shotgun and the RPG and talk about those guns. I like the sound of this gun too. Yep. So it's a decent gun to play with, and especially for a starter weapon when you first come into the game. It's not bad to play with. So I'm going to go ahead and pack a punch it, and it just bumps up the capacity up to 60 in the chamber. Still the same 450 rounds in reserve. So I just want to point out, you see how I'm always moving in this game, which is very important, because if you stand still anywhere, the zombies will be on your back before you know it. So it's always good to keep moving around, stay active in the game, unless you're in an area where you know there's no spawns behind you, because otherwise the zombies will spawn behind you and they'll be hitting you from behind, and you may not even notice it, because all you see sometimes is just a little bit of their head at the bottom of your screen. You know there's a zombie on top of you. They really don't give you much other indications. You know, the screen doesn't flash when you're getting hit, and nothing really special happens to let you know that you've got a zombie on your butt. So we can look at the shotgun, the 870 MCS shotgun. And this gun is really strong. I mean, when you look at the little chart that pops up, it looks like a really weird range of damage that it does. 25 times 5 and 9 times 5 is 18 to 90 DPS. I don't even know what DPS stands for. But it is a strong gun, and you'll see that when I show you how it works when I use it here in a game. It takes most of the regular zombies down with just one shot. It's a very effective gun, and it really has look at the strength relative to the amount of ammo that you get. It's only 120 rounds with 8 in the chamber. Because it's so strong, as long as your aiming is accurate, and you can kill the zombies with one shot really quick and not miss too many times, then you won't have to worry about running out of ammo in the game. But you got to make sure you aim properly. See, I was at the time here, I was using my shift lock, which gave me that little circle in my crosshairs to help me aim better. But I recently found out, and feel kind of dumb but not knowing this, I was wondering why most every single zombie game out there you can hold the shift key and run faster. But if you have the shift lock on, which I do here, I wasn't able to do that. I had to go into settings and turn off shift lock. And now if I'm moving along like this, if I'm moving forward, and then I hit my shift key, I end up sprinting, which is nice because I always talk about how you need additional speed in this game to survive. How important it is to be able to run away from the zombies to get yourself some distance so you can then turn around and shoot them. So that's something that you might want to consider if you really don't need this bullseye for aiming. Turn off your shift lock in the settings, which will allow you to sprint just by hitting the shift key while you're moving. I'm not sure how much increase in speed it is. I think it might be as much as maybe about 20% increase in speed from sprinting, which can, you know, save you in this game if you get stuck with a bunch of zombies around you. So the thing that's really bad, like I was saying about the shotgun, is it takes so long. I mean, if you want to rewind and look at how long it takes to reload that gun, especially when you get it papped and it has 16 rounds that you could put in the chamber, it takes like 10 seconds to reload those 16 rounds. Just ridiculous how it takes forever. Now here with the RPG, I want to talk about the strategy that's best for the RPG, and that is you want to round up the zombies. It's the same thing I do if I run the Mountain Fortress map in this game, or if I go into Zombie Recoil, or Recoil Zombies, excuse me. I'm having this little tickle in my throat all night. But if you watch my videos on Recoil Zombies, then you'll see that I always talk about if you're using a ray gun or the thunder gun, which has very limited ammo like this does. This only has a total of 10 rounds. You want to use those rounds effectively and get the most out of them that you can. So you want to round up the zombies like this and then blast them. You see it took down a lot of the zombies. Now another thing I noticed that this game's a little different than other games is that you can't get a dispersion field by shooting the rounds into the ground. You actually, for the most effect, you have to shoot it into the zombie cluster. You have to shoot right into the zombies, and I'll show you that as I round up the next bunch. I'm going to run off here, I believe, and pap it first. I got enough points now, so I think I do take a minute. I want to get some more zombies in my group here. No, that was a good shot there. I shot it right into the group and killed them all. So I'm going to go pap it now, and when I come back, you'll see I'm going to fire 2 rounds into a group of zombies, and the first round I shoot into the ground, and it doesn't bounce up and disperse and kill the zombies. It doesn't kill a single one of them, or maybe it killed 1 zombie, I think. But then the next round I shoot it directly into the cluster and kills almost all of them with the second round. That's the reason I rate it high, and it's the only reason that it would be effective, be a really good strong weapon in the game, is if you can learn to do this, learn how to round up the zombies into a big bunch and then blast them all at one time. A couple more stragglers. I'm going to get in a bunch here first before I blast them. You watch, I point this down into the ground right at the feet, and it didn't really kill any. I killed 1. And the next one I shoot just directly into the bunch, and it killed all of them but 1 armored zombie. So that's what you got to do with the RPG if you want to, want the ammo to last throughout the round. You want to round up the zombies into a bunch and blast them all at once. So now we're getting to the number 1 gun in Tier 1, per my calculations, taking the engineering approach. The SV98 is a single shot rifle. It's bolt action, but you can shoot off in a long distance and kill a zombie with 1 shot. As you can see, it's just taking them down 1 shot at a time. They're dying, they're going down. So I put my little circle crosshair back on it so I can aim a little bit better, because I'm not the greatest. There's a pinhead coming after me. And they only take 2 or 3 shots to kill a pinhead with this gun. Well, there's the 3rd shot right there. 3 shots and he's dead. So the only disadvantage, the only thing I don't like, is that it's a bolt action gun. You have to, you know, chamber every round, which just really slows the gun down, especially if you got a lot of zombies coming after you. You probably can't get enough rounds off in time to kill them all before they get to you, and you have to stop running off, get yourself some distance, and then turn back around and shoot the rest of them. It's just a little bit slow on reloading, but very strong. I mean, usually those demon guys, the one-eyed demons, are kind of a strong zombie relatively. And like machine guns and other guns, it takes several rounds to kill them. But this gun just takes them down in one shot. Even the crawlers are kind of strong, and it takes them down with one shot. It's a very, very strong gun, tier 1 gun. The strongest gun out of the whole tier. And overall, looking at all the factors, ammo is, you get like 140 rounds total when you get it papped. The damage came out like 22.4, really high damage rate with 112 rating per the game. Reload speed was relatively decent, because when you do run out of all your rounds and has to load a new clip, it doesn't take very long at all to do that. But the fire rate is what hurts it the most. It's just so slow with each round, having to reload each round. And there was a clip, I had to reload the clip. Even that takes a little bit of time to reload a new clip. But even with that disadvantage of speed, it still came out the best gun in the game, in my opinion. So now going back through a recap and looking at all the guns in the game, your SV98 came in on top, primarily due to its strength, relative strength compared to all the other guns, with some additional help from reload speed and ammo capacity. After that, the RPG, because of its strength and reload speed, came in a little bit higher. Shotgun, again, number 3, because it's so strong and a little more capacity than the other two guns, but overall, very strong gun, good gun to use in the game. And the best machine gun, the PDW-R, mainly because it's reloads fairly quick, like less than 3 seconds. Has a decent fire rate, constant fire rate, continuous, and same amount of ammo as the other two machine guns, the 316 and the M4, with 510 rounds total. So those 3 machine guns are very closely matched, except the M4 is weaker and the PDW-R reloads quicker. Then you're looking at the below that, the M9 pistol, and then the SVD-200. And again, what hurt the SVD-200, even though it's a relatively strong gun compared to all these machine guns, it did not have as much ammo, and reload was relatively slower, and the fire rate is what really kills it. It's so slow at shooting. I really don't believe you can fire 250 rounds in a minute. I don't think that's possible to achieve that speed, because every round you have to click your trigger, the mouse button. For every single round, it's a single shot, single fire gun. You have to keep clicking your mouse as fast as you can, and it just won't fire that fast. So that hurts it a lot. And then last is the LSAT. Unfortunately, the LSAT came in bottom again, mainly because it's such a slow rate of reload, like 6.6 seconds to reload, put a new batch of bullets in it. It was a high capacity chamber, which is good. I mean, it hold 100, I think it was 180 rounds when you get it papped, with 360 in reserve. But the ammo is very weak. Well, not quite as weak as the other machine guns. It was rated at 14 versus 12, but still pretty weak. The fire rate was okay at 600 rounds per minute, and capacity was lower than the other machine guns, but the bullet damage is what really hurt it being only 14. So it just fell, added all these factors together, it just came in at the very bottom of the gun, bottom of the tier 1 guns. So anyway, that's a summary of the guns. I hope you liked the video. If you do, give a thumbs up. I'm going to try to do each tier. This has been a job. It took a while to get this all done, but check back in the future for tier 2 and onward. Thanks for watching. Bye.